All right, welcome. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. I have quite a few things that I want to go ahead and get into today, guys. Obviously, we're doing the stream a bit earlier than I usually do it. I love to do evening streams just because this doggone window here it likes to shine through, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. So we have some Zach Ertz updates. We have a little bit of Carson Wentz updates. We're gonna talk about what the Zach Ertz trade rumors means for Carson Wentz. We're gonna get into what I actually believe Howie Roseman is actually doing. And we're gonna approach this a little bit differently because I think that there's something else going on, and it's not just about Wentz, it's not just about Zach Ertz, it's more so the philosophy behind this entire offseason and the way that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are approaching the entire thing. Franklin, my man, it's been a long time, my buddy. Franklin says, "Hey, what's up, man? Sorry I haven't been around. I've been DoorDash like crazy." Well, hey, man, somebody's got a DoorDash. I fucking love DoorDash. So you DoorDash on, man. Fucking love it. And no worries, no apologies here. We got some stuff to get. We got some stuff to get into. Today I'm going to address, my man. I'm going to address what I actually think is going on behind the scenes and how I actually think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are approaching this offseason. And but I want to start off with this. Look, I was talking to someone earlier this morning, and I want to touch on this real quick, and I don't want to get too much into it because I'm tired of beating this over the head. It was regarding one of my previous streams where I mentioned Carson Wentz having 4 good seasons for every bad season he has, and how he broke records in each of those seasons, with the exception of this one. And that person that I was speaking to said, "Yeah, broke records for being the most injured quarterback." No, I want to touch on this real quick. The reason why I want to touch on this real quick is because I need people to understand what exactly it is that we're losing. Guys, Carson Wentz was not injured that often. It is a topic that is way overblown. He missed 8 games after the ACL. He missed a couple games in the preseason before he started his rookie season. He played all 16 games during his rookie season, and then he got injured and then he sat out the final 4 games in 2018 with the back spasms, but could have kept going. And then he got injured in the playoff game after a dirty hit from Jadeveon Clowney in the playoff game. But he's pretty much played 32 out of the last 33 games. And so that's all I want to say. I need people to understand what exactly it is we're losing. He was a warrior. He is going to be a good quarterback. He's not bad. The negative things about Carson Wentz are completely overblown, and that's where I will leave it at that. I'm tired of talking about it. But let's go ahead and move on. So I also had another buddy who is a huge Patriots fan, and special request, he wanted to talk to me about what he thinks that what I think the Patriots will do at 15. And Franklin, reason why he asked me that was because I don't know if you're aware of this. I know you've been busy, my man, and you've been doing your DoorDash. Let me go ahead and see what Franklin says here. I know you've been doing your DoorDash, but we did on Saturday and Sunday do the player breakdowns. I had a great friend of mine, Patrick J., live on here with me. Great wealth of knowledge regarding the football world, sports in general, and just the draft. And we kind of went over some prospects and who we think the Eagles could possibly take in the early rounds, the later rounds, and who we think will fall. And we'll continue that too. That segment is not over. There is going to be a part 3 and a part 4, and we're probably going to collaborate on mock drafts and things like that. So you guys should stay tuned for an exciting flurry of segments. Franklin says, I think on most, or at least his recent injuries, they brought him back way too early. Yeah, they brought him back way too early for the ACL, and technically he didn't need to get shut down for the back injury. He had a hairline fracture, but they did, and I'm glad that they did. Now, granted, the reason why he played horribly this season was because Doug Peterson's offense started to fail after Frank Reich left, and there's plenty of evidence to point to in regards to that. So, but so I had a special request Patriots fan who wants to know what I think the Patriots will do at 15. And to be completely honest, I don't see. I think Patriots and Bill Belichick. I think that their top priority is to go out and grab a quarterback. Now, whether that means trying to make a move for Deshaun Watson, whether that means they want to try and trade up for one of the top guys like Justin Fields or a Trey Lance, or maybe maybe a Mac Jones, and I don't think Mac Jones is worth it at 15. And that's kind of where the conversation started. Honestly, in my opinion, and Franklin, you can kind of jump in here with this, is I would love to see the development of Carson Wentz under Bill Belichick. I would love to see what Carson Wentz does with Bill Belichick having his hands on him, and that's because I think if there is a disciplinary issue with Carson Wentz, I believe Bill will be able to correct that real quick. And I think Bill, being around the greatest of all time in Tom Brady, will know just all the right buttons to push when it comes to Carson Wentz. But let's go ahead and talk about the Zach Ertz trade rumors. Franklin, what do you think about the Zach Ertz trade rumors? Eagles obviously are in talks with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks want Zach Ertz. The Colts want Zach Ertz. How do you feel about that, my man? And Franklin goes ahead and says, how long do you think Bill Belichick will be with the Patriots if they don't make it to the playoffs ever again with Bill? How many years does he have? Well, let's actually start with this. And this is a great question that you proposed, Franklin. I did a little research on the Bill Belichick contract, and I kind of and I was reading articles regarding other beat writers and sports reporters around the league who try to do some investigative work on the Bill Belichick contract as well. And they went ahead and said that it is so hush-hush that not even Robert Kraft himself knows about the contract. And so I believe, and this is kind of where it was left off, is that Bill, in the parameters of that contract, is allowed to leave whenever he wants. So not even Robert Kraft knows the deadline of that contract. So that's kind of where that goes. Franklin says, I love Zach Ertz, but that's how football goes. Sometimes you got to make moves that you don't want to, and I'm very confident with Dallas Goedert. Yeah, no, of course. I think we had a great run with Zach Ertz. I love Zach Ertz. I think he's one of the best tight ends we've had in a long time. Maybe one of the best that has graced the halls of the franchise. I am excited for Dallas Goedert being able to take that top spot and see what kind of production we can get out of him. And the other thing to go along with that is this kind of leads me into what I was going to talk about, which is the philosophy behind how Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are approaching this offseason. And I think it is all about flushing the team, completely resetting. I think they're completely set with resetting, and that includes obviously it starts with getting rid of Carson Wentz. It starts with getting rid of Doug Peterson, but it also includes getting rid of any affiliates with either one of those people. And obviously, as we both know, Zach Ertz is Carson Wentz's best friend on the team. And so that piece of it does play a part in this. But also there is the contract dispute that they had earlier in the season before the season began, and things of that nature. But I want to get into this because I had a thought. And the thought was, I believe that in Howie Roseman's mind, the plan to kick Carson Wentz to the curb started when he failed to obtain DeAndre Hopkins. And let me explain. DeAndre Hopkins, a trade for DeAndre Hopkins would have been proof of the Philadelphia Eagles showing their devotion to Carson Wentz. Would you agree with that, Franklin? Let me know if you would agree with that in the live chat, because one, DeAndre Hopkins, veteran wide receiver, established wide receiver, and would have done wonders for Carson Wentz. Would have been everything that Carson Wentz needed and much, much more. Now, we saw what DeAndre Hopkins was traded for. He was traded for a second-round pick from the Arizona Cardinals. Now, after that move was made, Harry Roseman came and, in defense, said we didn't get the same offer. I understand that. One, the Arizona Cardinals had a higher pick in the second round, but here's the thing: that second round pick, and Franklin says yes, he agrees. That's that second round pick that we didn't trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Guess what that second round pick turned into? Jalen Hurts. The second round pick turned into Jalen Hurts. Now, bear with me on this. You draft Jalen Reagor in the first round, and then you draft Jalen Hurts with the second round pick that you did not dish out for DeAndre Hopkins, which would have been a move made for Carson Wentz. And then you draft the John Hightower, and then you draft the Quez Watkins. These moves were made for Jalen Hurts, Franklin. These moves were made for Jalen Hurts. These moves were made to build a supporting cast that can grow with Jalen Hurts. Now, everybody's freaking out that as of a few weeks ago, the franchise and management asked the younger wide receivers to go and practice with Jalen Hurts. And I'm surprised that everybody seems shocked, because here's the other cookie crumb that this thing started last offseason. They were working out with Jalen Hurts then. Deshaun Jackson did not work out with Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz spent about a week working out with these guys, but they weren't all there. And Jalen Reagor was there, but they weren't all there. They were all there working out with Jalen Hurts last offseason. In my opinion, and this is a theory, and I am theorizing, and I absolutely love theories sometimes. Sometimes I think they're fucking crazy, but sometimes I think they might be spot on. In Howie Roseman's mind, the parameters were set last year after the failure to nab DeAndre Hopkins, and he needed a backup plan. He saw Russell Wilson in the embodiment of Jalen Hurts, and it started there. It started there. And the parameters of this plan were to give Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz one more year to recapture the magic that came in 2016, where the future looked promising, and then recapture the magic from 2017 that led this team to the Super Bowl. And yes, did Nick Foles come and relieve Carson Wentz in the epilogue of a season where it did not matter who was going to relieve Carson Wentz. That team was built by Carson Wentz to win no matter what was going to happen that season. Carson Wentz was there for the prologue. He was there for the beginning. He was there for the journey, trudging towards the construction of a team that was built to withstand any obstacle that was put in their way. Any obstacle that was put in their way. If they didn't have Nick Foles, they would have found a way to establish a successful running game against every single one of those playoff opponents. I guarantee you. And you want to know why they would have been able to do that? Is because Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator, Franklin. Now let's go ahead and get to what you said next. And I was hoping that Jalen Reagor would have been at least half of what Hopkins is. Very disappointed in our wide receiver group, especially the fact that the two wide receivers were that we got later in the draft. Yeah. Look, here's the thing. We have to be objective with this. And the reason why we have to be objective with this is because I believe that Doug Peterson literally shit his pants. He literally shit his pants after Frank Reich left. Frank Reich was the veteran coach. Frank Reich was the whispers in his ear. Frank Reich was that magic 8-ball that gave him all the answers in 2016 and 2017, and he was just not there. Now, whatever the hell it was that they put out on the field, I do not blame that on Jalen Reagor, and I do not blame that on John Hightower. I do not blame that on Quez Watkins. I just can't. I am excited for this staff. Now, listen, does their youth give me cause to pause? Of course it does, Franklin. Of course it does. But I am excited about their potential once again because of the fact that we do have a young coaching staff that will probably do a better job of taking advantage of each and every individual skill set that they do possess. And some do possess strengths in those skill sets a little bit more than the others, but they do possess a similar skill set in some of their traits. And that's why they are also, and this brings us back around, that's why they are also better fits for a Jalen Hurts as opposed to the 2020 version of Carson Wentz. Howie Roseman built this thing last year, guys. He built this thing last year. Franklin, to your point, let's pump the brakes on our evaluation on Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins and John Hightower. I want to address this. I think Quez Watkins played great, honestly, for being a sixth round pick. I think he played. Was he a fifth round pick or a sixth round pick? I cannot remember. But I think he played great. He was injured a lot of the season, or at least we think so. I don't think he actually was injured a lot of the season. I think he was injured for the first 4 weeks, and then he was a healthy scratch. God knows why. And then finally we get to see him in week 14 with Jalen Hurts, and he did some really, really good things. John Hightower did some really good things with Carson Wentz. He showed the ability to get deep, and he was able to get separation. It was just some of the dropped passes earlier in the season that kind of plagued him, and then they kind of took him off the board with the emergence of Deshaun Jackson getting healthy, of Alshon Jeffrey getting healthy, and it made no sense. Those guys getting healthy and bringing them in place of an emerging Travis Fulgham, of an emerging John Hightower. All John Hightower needed was more time. He was dropping the ball, but that means that you do a better job coaching the guy who is dropping the ball, because he is your guy that is getting deep. He was our big deep threat. There was a 57-yarder and there was a 59-yarder. And there was another 50-yard plus catch that he had that gave us the ability to come back and beat the Giants in our first game against the Giants this past season. And that's something to be said. And Jalen Reagor, I feel like they're going to do a way, way, way better job utilizing Jalen Reagor. But does that mean that we're not going to take a wide receiver in the first round this year? I can't. I'm not ready to commit to that. I think if Devontae Smith is still there at 6, I think you go and you get Devontae Smith. Plain and simple. Franklin, I don't know if you were able to watch some of the things that we talked about over the weekend, but my buddy Patrick J and I, we could see the Dolphins taking Devontae Smith as high as 3. We really could. It's either going to be Penei Sewell or a big time playmaker. And it's a huge deal. It really is a huge deal to take Devontae Smith there at 3 for the Dolphins. Reason being is because there hasn't been a wide receiver taken that high since Julio Jones. And as we both know, Julio Jones was taken at 6. So the history of pick number 6 is good. But you know, we have Howie Roseman, and we just have to make sure that we utilize our draft positioning really well. I want to go a little bit deeper into these Zach Ertz rumors. So the Seahawks and Colts have showed interest in Zach Ertz. What does that mean for Carson Wentz? Well, look, we've heard rumors, Franklin, about the fact that the Eagles are trying to sell this as a package. They want Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz in a package, and I think the issue is this. I think they want a first round pick, and that's where I'm at with this philosophy that they're at. Is I don't think it's about getting as much back as they possibly can for Carson Wentz, and getting as much back as they can for Zach Ertz. I think it's all about getting an extra first round pick. I think that they want a big haul. I think that they would like a big haul. I think it's either a early first round pick, which is what I think that they have their sights set on, or they want a big haul in return. And so because they want a big haul in return, they're adding guys to the package like Zach Ertz. Franklin says, I hope they get a linebacker. Look, I hope they get a linebacker too. And we talked a little bit about some of the linebackers, and obviously top one off the board is going to be Micah Parsons, hand down. He is your all around instinctual middle linebacker, Mike linebacker. He will play all game in the backfield. He has the coverage ability to play zone. He can line up and cover the tight ends as well. He's a big time hitter, and he's a Penn State guy, and we love our Penn State guys. And so I hope that Micah Parsons is the pick at 6. I hope that he's the pick at 6. But then again, I have that same feeling about 5 other guys, you know. I have the same feeling about Kyle Pitts. I have the same feeling about Penei Sewell. If Penei Sewell does fall, I don't see Penei Sewell falling past the Bengals. I just think that that would be a home run pick for the Bengals, protecting Joe Burrow there in Cincinnati. But I would love Micah Parsons. I would love Caleb Farley. I would love Patrick Surtain III. You know, at 6, I would love Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. But linebacker is great. Micah Parsons would be the first one off the board. But here's the thing about that too, is there are going to be some linebackers in the second round and in the third round who also demonstrate elite level ability as well. And so we're talking about guys like LSU linebacker Jabril Cox. You know, he's one of my sleeper guys, and he has the ability to you know, he's got phenomenal cover ability, and he stands 6'4", 230. He could probably use to build a little bit more size and strength. You know, and one of the takeaways was this: is sometimes he does shy away from getting up there and playing in a close proximity, closer to the box. You know, but that can be coached. You know, that can be coached, and it might be a size thing. The interesting thing about Jabril Cox too is he's one of those guys that you can kind of play all around the linebacker rotation. You can probably put him at outside linebacker too, and he would be an upgrade. He would be an upgrade over what we have. That's for sure. And that goes to say, you know, I'm excited about the development of Alex Singleton. I got to be honest with you. But again, I do agree with you. You know, we do need somebody in there to compete with him. But Jabril Cox is one of those guys who could be a chess piece, and so I'm excited about him. He's one of those guys. He started his collegiate career at North Dakota State. So we touched on that as well. He is a guy that that is going to bring a strong work ethic. He started his collegiate career at North Dakota State, and he always looked for the stronger opportunity. And there's nothing better. There's nothing more. There's nothing more evident than him going and reaching for a stronger opportunity after his junior year and transferring over to LSU to have that better opportunity. So I would really love Jabril Cox. There's a Pete Werner. There's guys like that will be there in the second and third rounds. It depends, honestly, Franklin, what we do, how many picks we get from this package that they're trying to trade. I do believe they are going to get quite a few picks. I believe High Roseman is dead set on getting quite a few picks from whatever this package is going to consist of. Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, maybe another player, Franklin. It really could. There could be. I mean, this package seems to be growing as we go along here, and it would not shock me if we see quite a few guys moved outside of the two that we just talked about in Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz. So, but look, here's the thing too. They have a lot of moves to make. Franklin. They have a lot of moves to make. It's an important offseason. It's an extraordinarily important offseason. And one of the points that I wanted to make is, we haven't seen High Roseman in this position since 2016. And obviously he had a phenomenal 2016. And he had a phenomenal 2017 as well. So does this mean, and I'm not saying that I'm on High Roseman's side whatsoever. You know how I feel about High Roseman. I've shared that with you. But I am saying, if this means, analytically, if we're talking analytics, because that's where the NFL has gone, like baseball, analytically, High Roseman's due for a phenomenal offseason. You know what I mean? So I also want to talk about, the other, over the weekend we talked about my second round pick, and I've come to pretty much solidify who I want in that second round pick, kind of how I did with Miles Sanders. Like, I didn't want anyone else in that second round other than Miles Sanders. Franklin says, at least it won't be a boring offseason. Oh, it's not going to be boring whatsoever. It's not boring. It's not boring. It's been insane. It's been insane. And the first shoe to drop really was the Doug Peterson firing, really. And then it was, what does this mean for Howie Roseman? And then it was, oh, well, Carson's not staying. And then finally, a few days later, Matthew Stafford gets traded for Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks, and we're just like, what? and then the Twittersphere shot to the fucking moon, and it was all over. It's taken off since then. And it's been absolutely insane. But I want Asante Samuel Jr. with that second round pick, hands down. He is just like his father. He plays just like his father. He is younger, or obviously he's younger. He's a bit smaller. He's 5'10", about 198, where his father was about he's 5'10", about 188, where his father was about 5'11", 195, if I remember correctly. But he demonstrates great mirroring ability when it comes to covering the wide receiver, just like his father. The only knock on Asante Samuel Jr. is sometimes he's not great at high pointing the ball, or he's not great at coming down with the ball. But here's the thing about that is, and here's one thing that doesn't worry me whatsoever, because we know that his father was phenomenal at that. And And if he has that ability to get advice, I mean, what better person to grab advice from than the man who just happens to be a part of your lineage, and who did it so well, other than your father. So that's another thing as well. And there's quite a few cornerbacks as well. We have options. We don't really need to panic. That's the big message I want to get across. Outside of Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley, there is Asante Samuel Jr. There is Joe Horn's son, J.C. Horn, who is a phenomenal cornerback as well. And he used to practice going up against his Hall of Fame wide receiver father. And so there are options there. One player that really excites me that we talked about was cornerback Shaun Wade. Now, Shaun Wade is a cornerback safety hybrid, but right now they kind of list him as a safety, which might make his stock drop a little bit. But here's the thing. He's one of those guys you can kind of play all over the field. He would be a phenomenal chess piece for Jonathan Gannon's defense, and he would do really well for us. That's the big thing. That's the big thing that we need to get into our heads is we need playmakers all across the board. And so for me, when I think of playmakers all across the board, I think of guys that can do things really well at different positions. You know what I mean? And so Shaun Wade, we're talking about a Shaun Wade. We're talking about a Jabril Cox. We're talking about a Gregory Rousseau, out of the University of Texas, who is one of the top ranked edge rushers in this draft. He's a guy who can stand up. He can put his foot. He can also put his hand down. And he could probably play a little bit of outside linebacker too. He's going to be a double-digit guy. The thing is that some of these edge rushers might not go in the top of the draft like they sometimes do, just because of the fact that there is a need at quarterback, there is a need at offensive line, there is a need for playmakers, but the way that the draft is gonna seems like it's gonna play out, in my opinion, 1 through 6 is Trevor Lawrence is gonna go number 1 to Jacksonville. That's hands down, regardless of what we've talked about and the Eagle scouts showing up at Trevor Lawrence's pro day. As soon as Jacksonville hired Urban Meyer to be their head coach, that's where the Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, pairing started. That's when that started. So Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1 to Jacksonville. Jets fans are not sure if they're going to go quarterback at number 2, which means that if a quarterback doesn't go number 2, then I could probably see them going, offensive line here or something along those lines. But in my opinion, I think that the Jets trade out. I think the Jets trade out at number 2, pick up picks, and somebody else moves up there. And I'm not sure who it's going to be, but it will be somebody, and it might even be somebody like the Broncos, or it might even be God forbid our bitter rival, the Cowboys. And the reason why I say that is because there is cause for pause, because of the fact that they left Dak Prescott out of their 2021 hype video. You know what I mean? So are they going to go forward with Dak Prescott? We don't know. But pick number 3 is the Dolphins, and the Dolphins will probably either go Penei Sewell or Devontae Smith. Now, let's say they go Devontae Smith. Number 4, you got the Falcons, and they're probably going to go ahead and try and replace Matt Ryan there at number 4. No better opportunity than that opportunity to replace Matt Ryan there. And so I say Justin Fields goes there, and then you got 5. Then you have 5, Cincinnati at 5. And this is a pivotal one. The reason why it's pivotal is because I could see them replacing AJ Green here with another wide receiver, with another playmaker, or they go with the safe pick, the home run pick, which is if Penei Sewell is on the board at 5, you take Penei Sewell at 5. But that takes either a playmaker or it takes Penei Sewell away from the Eagles at 6. And so that's why that's a big one. But at that point, guess what? We still have both cornerbacks still on the board. We still have the linebacker on the board. There's no reason for us to panic. There's no reason for us to panic. It's going to be hard for Howie Roseman to miss this one. It's going to be really, really hard for Howie Roseman to miss this one unless he takes Gregory Rousseau or Kwity Paye at pick 6. Like it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. And I guess with that said, I could see him doing that. And that piece of it does scare me. You know what I mean? Like it's like taking Brandon Graham in 2010 instead of Earl Thomas. Like it scares the hell out of me, Franklin. It scares the hell out of me, man. But you know, I wanted to go over something here with you. And so I'm glad, Franklin, that I got you on the live stream today. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, what do you think if the Eagles traded Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz to the Seahawks? What do you think would happen? Because here's the thing, and with all that we've talked about, how the Eagles are trying to build a package, the Seahawks being interested in Zach Ertz, the Colts being interested in Zach Ertz, they both want them. That is the recent report out of Bleacher Report. They both want Zach Ertz, and I believe that they have a deal in place, but Howie Roseman's making it difficult because of the fact that they want to sell a package. What do you think Howie Roseman would ask for, in the sense that Howie Roseman sells a Carson Wentz / Zach Ertz package to the Seattle Seahawks? And do you think that they would accept that? Let me know what you think in the live chat or in the comment box below, and we can get back to that. But guys, I am really excited about the future segments that Patrick J and I have together. It is going to be phenomenal. The next live stream that we're going to have is going to be later on in the week this week. And we will be going into a deeper dive on the wide receivers, probably talking about Jamar Chase, probably talking about Devontae Smith, probably talking about Jalen Waddle a little bit in his injury history. And probably talking a little bit more. There's one guy that I specifically want to talk about who has me really excited, but he is a later round prospect, but does have the size and the strength and the high point ability for a tall wide receiver. 6'6", 215 pounds, TJ Vasher out of Virginia Tech. He is the guy that I want to talk about. So we'll talk about that on our next live stream together. But with that said, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. And guys, please remember to go to www.streamlabs.com/dbtalkingnow/tip to show your loving support. Anything you guys donate does help. Everything you do donate is redistributed back into the stream, so I can bring you guys better content and make better live streams for you guys. Also, we do have a new merch store as well. It is www.streamlabs.com/dbtalkinnow/merch. We have quite a few items on there that are pretty cool, but there is more to come. Right now, we have t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, we have sweaters, we have a raincoat, we have snapbacks, we have backpacks. We also have face covers and tank tops. So if you want to work out, or if you want to wear the tank top at the gym, you can rep DB Talking Now that way. But if you go to the gym while you're working out, please just wear the face cover. We have the face covers. You can rep DB Talking Now wearing your handy dandy tank top and your face cover, and that would be absolutely phenomenal. I expect some of my subscribers to rep DB Talking Now, and I know that I got my package coming soon, so it's going to be absolutely exciting. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Monday. I will be with you. We will be on the clock. I will be continuing to talk about this and make sure I bring you guys current updates as this thing goes along. It is always quiet before the storm, so the lightning will strike at some point, and it will be absolute pandemonium. So I am excited and cannot wait for that to happen, because we'll just have to jump on right away and do an emergency live stream, and it will be absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. You guys stay safe, stay healthy. One love. Go Birds. Have a beautiful, beautiful Monday.